Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all good. Day two is over and I am back with another beer for you to maybe think about buying. Let's see. So the one we are looking at is one that I picked up from Morrison's. It was part of a 4 for 3, if I remember rightly, and it was quite cheap anyway. And it's a brewery that I think I've only ever had one from before. Certainly there's only one up on the channel as far as I'm aware. I've had some of the brews that they do for home bargains under a different name and that, but I think only one of these. So the one we are looking at is from Glen Affric Brewery, and this is a can of their Highland Suntan, and it is an extra pale ale coming in at 4.9% ABV, 440ml can, and on its own should be £2.75. Not sure if this was the freebie. But like I say, it was part of a 4 for 3, so that would have come in cheaper. Now I'm thinking of, if it's a decent beer, £2.75 is a decent price. And I will just show you the artwork. The artwork is beautiful. That is fantastic artwork. But as I turn this right round, this beer has won an awful lot of awards. So if you want to pause that and look at that, double gold winners there. And I mean, that sort of says it all. This beer should be very good. On the back, I'll just give you some of the spiel. Made with extra pale malt and wheat for a light biscuit base. Then layered with mountains of pithy aromatic citra and juicy dank mosaic hops for a burst of citrus flavour and a subtle bit of finish. For me, I mean, that just sounds really nice to me. That sounds like a really nice beer. Brewed to be as pale as a Scottish suntan. This is our flagship beer. So if this is their flagship beer, this should be pretty decent. But am I going to be a little bit underwhelmed? Is the beer not quite going to be up to what I'm maybe hoping? Especially when you look at all them awards. Because I can't help but feel if it was that good, really that good, surely they'd be charging more for it. I don't know, but the artwork is lovely. So there we go, picked up from Morrison's, pale ale. I'm going to whack it in me magic dragon glass. They do a lot of pale ales, out of Wrexham they are. And funny enough, as a lot of you will know, I'm a Sheffield United fan. And who was Sheffield United playing in the cup tonight? Wrexham. So Basil will be watching it. I am literally only sort of like, oh shit, you bastard. It shot its bolt. It shot its bolt. I've clearly upset it by mentioning Sheffield United, so we have a big mess on the table at the moment. Maybe I've shaken it around too much, I don't know, but I'll have to get the table wiped. And the cat has decided to come and see us again. Right, bear with me. I've just done a video that will be up quite probably before this for the perfect draft, but we'll see. Anyway, table's wiped. The cat is trying to get its nose in. There is a lovely aroma off this beer already, and there should be, I suppose, because most of it's over the table. So beer in a glass. Now that is proper extra pale. It looks darker on the screen to you, but that is a proper sort of light, very pale lemon looking colour, slight haze to it, plenty of fizz going up, and we got a nice 1.5 finger, 2 finger of pure white, that's white Ed there. Looks good. Let's dive in on the nose, see what we get. It's a citra and mosaic. Yeah, and you get that citra, that note of citra is always, it's just recognisable, you just know it. And yeah, and you're getting that little dankness. I kind of pick up dankness on the nose, the same dankness I'm guessing in taste, but you definitely get that sort of dry, dank feel from the mosaic hops, and a lovely light malt base. It does smell really good, to be honest. I've got a feeling it's not going to be a heavy sort of beer. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But it looks very decent. So let's dive in on Glen Affric Brewery. They're out of Scotland, by the way. Highland Suntan Extra Pale Ale. Picked up from Morrison's, £2.75. 4.9% ABV. Let's give it a go. Cheers. Shut up. Bear with me. Let the cat out. Right, where were we? Cat's out. Right, let's go in again. Give you some more. %4.9%. Yeah, the beer is light. You expect it to be light. I'm not going to say it's thin light though, or well, watery light. Yes, it's kind of thin or drinks light, but it does have that little bit of a backbone to it to hold it up. But the lightness of this beer will make it refreshing. It will make it drinkable. Lovely and hoppy. Carbonation is there. It is reasonably busy. Doesn't necessarily ruin the mouthfeel. But what that's going to do is, it's because the beer is light, it's going to add a little bit of sort of oomph to the body. You know what I mean? It's just going to sort of fill it out a little bit more. It's pretty smooth. On the taste, you're getting them hops, you're getting the citra, you're getting the mosaic. For me, behind that, where it says like a biscuity light base, that is where you pick it up. The sort of big flavours are the citra and the mosaic hops in this. And that sort of biscuit base sort of maltiness comes through behind that. I mean, the description on this can, people say, oh, don't read the description, or they won't read it. And I get that, because you don't want to be sort of swayed. But the description on this can fits the beer perfectly. You get that pithy, citra juicy note in there. Proper pithy. And it really does sort of stand in there, because it just reminds me of that. The flavour is hard to describe, but it's sort of unmistakable. You just know it when you get that pithy note in there. Excuse me, bit of gas. Yeah, pithy, orange, lemon, lime, almost a sort of tropical feel. That mosaic in there does give it a lovely little dankness to it, a little dry edge that makes you go back in. And this beer has got that drinkability to be going back in. Yeah, and the bitterness is there as well. It's a very subtle bitterness. It's beautifully well balanced for me. And then now, I always find the hop sort of take over the more you drink. Now, like I said before, now is when I meant, that's where the little malty backbone comes in, that little biscuity sort of finish, a subtle touch of sweetness that just takes the edge off the bitterness. This beer is beautiful, and it genuinely is. Now, I know you may be thinking, oh, you've read that, it's won this, it's won that, that's the only reason you're saying it. No, I'm not hiding from the fact that the beer is quite light and drinkable. It's what you expect, 4.9%. But it ain't wishy-washy, and that's what I mean. The malt in this beer is, the malt and the carbonation is sort of filling it out that little bit more. And that gives it a slightly sort of better body. The flavours in there, the citra and the mosaic are bang on. It's a cracking drop, it really is. I can see why it's won a lot of awards, and this is something, I'll tell you what, where I live, I'm never going to see it on tap, which is a shame, because if I wanted a pub that was local to me to have something on tap that I would enjoy and be able to drink, that would be the sort of thing I would want, because you don't have to think about it. The flavours are there. They are quite bold and they're in your face. So you don't have to think about what you're drinking. But it's also got them flavours that you don't have to think about it, because it's just a good beer. It's just a good beer. So yeah, for me, Glen Affric Brewery, and this was out of Morrison's, Highland Suntan Extra Pale Ale. That is well worth a try. That is a very nice, enjoyable drop. And if the sun was out, it'd be even nicer. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely flavours in there. It's a nice drinking experience. So yeah, I highly recommend that. Morrison's, like I say, £2.75, part for 4 for 3 where I am. If you've had the beer before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Sorry for waffling on. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon on another one. Cheers.